Evening all, and welcome back to Kerbalism. So, last episode I was trying to figure out where these things were, atmospheric science and flight to cruise experiments. And what I was looking for a part that was, I remember there was an atmospheric science part, and there is in this one here. Nope, this one here. Get it right. There is this one here, the atmospheric fluid spectrobarometer, and it basically turns out that Kerbalism throws a lot of experiments onto this little part here. If we go down here, atmospheric analysis, pressure scan, cloud, curve, nitrogen filters, salt, wing. There's loads of them on there. So that's where the wing and that sort of one is. I still don't know where flight or herring is. I didn't see them on there. Am I being blind? Hold on. Wing. 2O, curve, cloud. No. I did ask in the Discord channel about it, and apparently there's supposed to be another science part which is actually in Kerbalism at the moment, which you know makes sense. The mod is forever changing and forever being updated, and new wonderful things come out, so we might see them in the future. They may turn up somewhere, they may not. I kind of expect them to be on like the crew reports. It would replace the crew report, but that's not the case at the moment. But it doesn't matter. So I could do at least one more experiment if I unlock that piece there. The good news is that I've noticed our science is going up. I've had the game running for probably about an hour, I think. It's just been sat here doing nothing for about an hour, and we've gone from 40 or 40.1 to 40.3. So either that is giving me science slowly, or something else is. It's quite possible we have probes doing things in a way. But what I'd like to do is those on the moon or on Mimas, because Mimas is a better place. But also, I'd like to be able to maybe drive around Mimas with the rover. Or a robotic hobby thing. Kind of like the idea of a robotic hobby thing. Let's see what I can come up with. Okay, so I've had a play in the Space Program Hangout and VAB to build a craft. I've kind of gone with the idea of putting a mobile processing lab onto the pod we had, landing that on Mimas, and turning it into a rover so it's got wheels and driving around. I did record it, but I waffle for about an hour and nothing happens. So yeah, I'm not going to show that one there. But when I was doing it, I was thinking, we've got a lab now, we've got a material studies in the lab because Kerbalism lets you do that, but we need more Kerbals, and I could recruit them or I could pick them out of space because they're up there usually. Rescue Dazel from orbit. There's also be some good money for us as well, because money's not a problem, and this big launcher that I've got is going to be like 300,000, so it's not terrible. But let's do a rescue mission, because I haven't done one yet. And normally there are more in here, but I think they're not arriving because I haven't done them. I also need to do that. That's really high. But it's good. I would like to get an orbit. No. A probe. That's the word. Into equatorial orbit, so I can use it to figure out maneuver nodes. I know that sounds really strange, but if I'm going to set that one as well. Let's go into here. If you have a probe like here, we have there's all debris. If you've got a probe in orbit of Kerbin going round and round, what you can do is you can go to it and set up maneuver nodes, so you can say, hey, when would I need to launch it to get to Mimas or the moon or wherever? Well, there's the moon, there's Mimas, because Mimas is on a different plane, and that's very useful for Mimas. So you can figure out, if I do this now and go in orbit out to Mimas, where's it going to be? Well, if it's going to be, I'm going to be here and it's going to be up there, my inclination is wrong. So I want to wait for Mimas to get to there, which is even with the planet, or over there, one or two, even with equatorial orbit, because it's just easier. Then I can launch a craft into a parking orbit for an hour, say, and then go. Not have to do it and wait for days and days and days, using up all the food and problems like that. It's also good for showing kind of where things are. I know we've got Kerbal alarm clock, which tells us when like ELU and things like that is coming up, but maybe we want to go, well, if we drag out and look at this here, we need exactly this amount of delta V to get there from a parking orbit or in. It's a very useful tool to have a probe in orbit just for that purpose. So yeah, maybe Daisel 3 will become that because it's in quite a low orbit, 75,088. But anyway, we need to get there and recover them. So let's build a craft. Not this one. This is the Mimbus. It's 200,000, not 300. But this Mimbus one you see there, I've got a. This is the idea for it. It technically doesn't have the delta V to get to Mimbus, but the last one launched didn't have the delta V to get to Mimbus, and we ended up getting there without using that there. So I think this is all based off if we were just in the atmosphere all the time. And then when you turn it off, it does that. So you've got to pick like a medium between the two. So I'm sure Kerbal Engineer used to figure out the height you would be and then kind of tell you what the delta V would be. But so if we're in the atmosphere all the time, we've got 4,700. If we're out of the atmosphere, we've got nearly 7,000. So between the two is 5.5, 5.7, something like that. And that's enough to get to Mimbus. That's what I did last time and it worked, so I'm going with that again. Okay. We need a rescue mission. Now, we don't have the claw, so we can't just grab onto the pod when we're here, when we're there. We do have portable cabling, though. Print socket. So, we could send a Kerbal out with Kerbal Engineer and do that. Grip strips. Traction for all your non-slip. Yeah, so cable hook. We can go on, clip onto it, hook onto it, and drag it back if we want to. I'm gonna include those because they're useful. We hopefully won't need it. Hopefully we can just EVA over and everything would be awesome. So we just need a pod to go into orbit. So let's grab the Mark II command pod and zoom in on it. And we only want one Kerbal in there. So Valentina, you're going to be our rescue Kerbal. And this just needs to basically go up, be able to turn around and come back down again. Dead easy. Doesn't need anything special to it. So that parachute will do the job. That'll work. This doesn't have a reaction wheel, does it? Yes, it does. Okay. Right. So quick and dirty. Quick and dirty. Let's see here. And that really should do it. That'll take us into orbit. That'll work really well. So yeah, quick and dirty. Let's put on a no, we don't need anywhere near that amount. We probably don't even need 4, we probably just need 2. That'll do. Go with 4 because that's how we've got the wing set up there. There we go. Okay. Rescue craft 1. Put them round. And that should do the trick. So let's go and rescue Diesel. Right, I'm going to bring up gravity term and we're going to go first guest Happy with that. That's fine. We don't have to worry about rotation because I already rotated the pod. This should be fine. That pod should survive going up. And parachute should also as well. I hope. We'll see. Set as target. We probably want to fire when it is... Well, we'd like to get in front of it. It's on a 75 and 88 orbit. So if we're in front of it, we can do a higher orbit and slow down. So I'll wait until it is, shall we say... I'm saying it because I don't know if it's... What Kerbal it is. He, she, it. I don't know. We'll wait till it's about there, shall we? And that should be... There we go. We'll probably get up there way before it, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. So, turn the engine up a little tiny bit because Kerbalism, I haven't actually set up my action groups for anything, but I can. Yeah, I haven't set up a rescue. If this goes wrong, we are in trouble. So I'm going to not the heat shield. I'm going to pin the stack separator there. I'm going to pin the parachute there because I didn't think about that. So, right, what we want to do is we want to fire the engine and check everything is okay. Turn SAS on. Boom. Yep, it launched okay. And then we want to just go boom, launch and spacebar. And there we go. And the gravity turn will probably do everything for us. And here we are up in space, slightly different to what I thought. I forgot to turn the engine up on the craft, so it ran out of time and went wrong and failed on us. So about half the fuel in that debris back there, the tank is about half full still. So yeah, that's my bad. But it did auto, when it detected that the engine had stopped working, it auto separated and used this instead, and we got up here. I had to turn the gimbal down because this was wobbling like a nutter. So, and we are pretty good. We're going to be here, and the target's going to be there. So what I'm going to basically do is fire the engine up just a little bit more. See whether we can't get a really close approach. Oh, I think we actually went past it there. 3 points. I think we're gonna. Yeah, I think that would be okay. What's our back in the atmosphere? So I'm gonna turn down the thrust limit on this to something like there. Point retrograde. I didn't upgrade this engine either, so it's got. Luckily, the Poodle's got lots of ignitions anyway, so we're not so bad for that. I'm gonna fire it ever so gently. And try and get us a very close encounter. We will be going quite fast, so we'll have to switch over, get out, and then EVA over. But making up 75 meters a second isn't really a major problem with an EVA pack. I mean, I could always. I think I will. I think we will actually slow the craft down when we get there. So that's not really going to be a major problem. Okay. So let's turn off our SAS. Let's walk around to say here. Let's switch this to target. So we'll be traveling retrograde to target. There we go, and we get our little target meter up here. It'll be 106 seconds to slow down and get to where we need to go to. That's easily fixable because we can turn up the thrust limiter. I think we're okay for that. That'll be fine. Yeah, we can turn up the thrust limiter to say, let's go 25%. Okay. And if I turn this on and say retrograde, it will point retrograde to the target, which means we'll slow down based on the target, which is what we want. We want to match the target's velocity. So we need to slow down relative. That's why we're pointing this way away from the planet, because our frame of reference isn't necessarily Kerbin now. It is this, and we want to match this orbit. So fire retrograde. Matching maneuvers is quite easy when it's on the same plane. When it's on different planes, it is complicated as hell. But generally, get a encounter like this here, somewhere close, within a couple of kilometers. It doesn't have to be that close, 10 kilometers, so long as it's nearby. And then, oh, she's alive. Danzelism is a female Kerbin. Awesome. Yeah, and then once you're within that 10 kilometer range, just fire target retrograde. Slow yourself down to match the target speed close to it, so your relative speed is pretty close. Like now, here we go. Let's fire the engine up here, and we'll bring our target speed right down. Ah, yes, all the errors come up. Yeah, get the target speed down. There you go, 2.5 meters a second. And then from there, if you've got more propellant, you can maneuver quite easily. You can bop around. If you haven't, and you've only got the main engine you're using, turn the thrust right down on it, quite low, and use it to maneuver. Obviously, with Kerbalism, ignitions are a problem, so really you should have monopropellant for this. But you'll find once you get your target speed below 10 meters a second, you can do little maneuvers here, there, and everywhere, and you'll get it. You'll understand how it works. There we are. We're 700 meters away. What's going to be our closest approach? Right over here, 800 meters. But what we can do now is we can just switch over to that target using the square brackets. There we are. Luckily, you are in a pod with a door. I have had them before where they're not in a door. That causes all sorts of problems. You can EV out because you will have full monopropellant, which is nice enough. Don't know why I turned that on. That was weird. And what you can do now, because you're within a certain distance, you can just push your way over that way. And you're looking at these markers here. The pink one is where your target is. So when you move the mouse, that's where, and the green one is where you're traveling. So if you point the marker at the target, and then rather than trying to figure out exactly where you're going, W, A, S, and D will move this how you want to go to. So S will move it up, W will move it down because you're firing opposite to it. You can just do that and bring it down, like so. There we go. Keep an eye on your speed as well, because that's easy enough to get wrong. I can't remember what the... No, I know, it's a lie there, sorry. It's control to move it down and shift to move it up. W and S are forward and backwards, aren't they? Nah, see, even I got that wrong. So S will slow you down. So, yeah, I got that bit wrong. Shift to move the marker up, the green marker up. Control to move it down. A and D to move it left and right. And then W and S to change your relative speed. So when you get nearby, you want to slow down so you don't crash into anything. And if you ignore everything that's going on the window and just fly by this here, keeping an eye on the speed, you'll actually find it's a lot easier to fly, because you're not trying to figure out exactly which way you're pointing, which can be very disorientating. This thing here is just easy, so you can just see I can just move, remembering it's move the target up and down, keep the green marker on the pink marker, and you'll travel exactly towards your target. That's what you want to do, and that's just flying by the nav ball. So much easier than trying to figure it out in space, because you'll be like, well, it's over here, so if I point that way and push W, I'll go that way. But because I'm traveling this way, you don't travel that way. This is really weird to concern on the 2D screen, but because you're orbiting left to right and you want to travel forwards relative to the camera, if you just push W to go forward, you won't actually travel forward, you travel that way, because you are traveling left to right. So you have right speed. Adding forward speed to it will push you off in a forward and right direction. So you travel that way, which is not really what you want. Really, you should be pointing that way to get to a target over here. So use the nav ball. It's easier. Hopefully that made any sense to anyone. I'm really, really bad at explaining stuff, but yeah. Okay, so there we go. We have rescued Daisel. She is a scientist. That is excellent. She can reset experiments even at level 0. Awesome. Right, we do want a scientist. That's really good. That's really, really good. Okay, so we want to land again. We can land at the KSE. Look at that. We are right near it. Now, I can never remember where you're supposed to put it. Isn't it like somewhere? If you want to land at the KSE, you want to be somewhere between this continent and that continent for your marker, and that should land you there. I think we don't have the Delta V to do that, which I am absolutely confused on. Oh, now we do have the Delta V to do that. What? Oh no, sorry, was that? Sorry, that was burn time, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say because we got 1,700. Wow. So let's do something different here. Let's go to our maneuver node planner. One here. Go to maneuver, and instead we're going to type in minus 1,747. 747. There we go. Okay. Turn off that. So that will basically stop us dead. That's using all of our fuel there. So if I then bring that marker across to basically drop it down onto the KSE, which should be there-ish. Then that should work. Okay. Oh, so yeah, let's go to that and just fire our entire fuel load there to slow us down. Hopefully we'll drop somewhere on the KSE. Oh, let's move it forward. No. Let's move it forward a bit more now. I have mucked up because I've pulled it orbital a few times, but it doesn't matter because it's only going to be correct. There's the KSE, the big green line gives it away. We should probably go a little bit beyond the KSE because that's where it's actually going to be. Yeah, we should move that along a little bit more. Because the planet's orbiting underneath us, so our target constantly moves. 5, 4, and that is providing this engine doesn't explode while doing it. So, go. Okay. We are just far in retrograde. There goes your old pod. And hopefully we will actually come to a stop and drop down into the orbit, and surface should be about the same at the moment, doesn't matter. Yeah, hopefully that will just stop us and drop. No, it's dead. The engine failed. It had way more life in it than that. Come on. But we are in Kerbal. We're fine. We're fine. We're gonna descend through and. Oh, hold on a moment. Unset target. I'm looking at the wrong orbit. There's our orbit, the blue one. Okie dokie. Right. Let's ditch that then. And I'm going to point us that way. So we get as absolute much aerodynamic drag as possible. So yeah, I was looking at the wrong orbit. That was Daisel's craft, so... What an idiot. Okay. So by doing this, by putting the craft flat like this, it will cause us to slow down horizontally more than vertically. So I'm trying to drop us down there somewhere. It'd be nice to get near the KSE. I'm never very good at KSE landings. Whenever I bring like SSTOs or shuttles back, I usually end up landing back here somewhere or in the water over there somewhere. Normally I come down and I'm too low for the mountains, so when we either crash into the mountains or I need to abort here. If I could just get over them, I could land here somewhere. This is quite nice. There's loads of flat area there, so... Yeah, so this is going to come down. I don't think we're going to hit the atmosphere thick enough to... We're going to land in the water. By the looks of it, we're going to land in the water. That's fine. Oh, reaction wheels aren't strong enough to keep us up. But maybe if the engine hadn't failed, we would have kind of landed at KSC. But we're going to be nearby, they can send the boats out. Everything will be fine. And we have our first rescue Kerbal. Basil Kerman, a scientist, welcome to the crew. We're poaching you from another company who decided to leave you abandoned in space. There's Mimbus there in the distance. That's my engine, yeah. Okay, and we're 20-ish kilometers off the coast, so not so bad. Not so bad at all. Okay, so the Kraken strikes, but we have the technology to fix it. We were coming down, the parachute deployed, the game crashed, which was really interesting. I got the sound effect for the parachute deploying like repeatedly over and over and over, that whoosh noise when it opens. And when I reloaded the game, Valentina and Daisel were dead, apparently killed in action. And that's not fair. I normally don't revert things or don't do anything to there. I don't have a previous quick save or anything like that. I'd save between each episode, but that's it. So I've edited the save game and they are now available, but they don't have any stars now. They should probably both have 1 stars, but yeah. So I don't think that's cheating. I think that was a bug in the game. Something went wrong there and they crashed. So yeah. So we didn't recover the craft. We completed the mission. So at least I think we completed the mission. Or did it register we failed the mission? No. Yeah, oh, it actually said we failed the mission. Yeah, because I suppose the game crashed when I reloaded it. She was dead. So, okay, so we've taken the hit for that, but we've managed to fish them out of the water, strain them through, glue them back together, and they're fine. They're fine now. So, yeah. Okay. So, we're going to leave that one there, and we shall come back next episode and probably head back to Mimbus, or maybe have a rescue or two. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope to see you again next time. Until then, as always, have fun.